Welcome to part 3 of Let's Play Legend of the Shadow Warriors by Stephen Hand. At the end of the last part, I was about to read paragraph 28. Here we go. Realizing that you are no match for the might of all 5 warriors combined, you run back to the north. Your lungs burn as you try to put some distance between you and the shrieking phantoms. Fortunately, you come at last to a narrowing of the path which forces the warriors to ride in single file, but one of them has sped ahead of the others in a bid to delay you. You must fight and destroy it before the rest catch up. Roll 1 die to see which of the 5 you must face. If you roll a 6, ignore the result and roll again. When you are told to continue your adventure, after defeating the warrior, turn to 72. Note this on your adventure sheet. Now, if you roll 1, turn to 8, 2, turn to 394, 3, turn to 259, 4, turn to 183, 5, turn to 245, or 6, roll again. Okay, so let's roll a d6, and what do we get? And we get a 5, brilliant. Okay, so let's turn to 245. Okay, here we go. This shadow warrior carries a number of deadly throwing stars which are cast in a magical substance called cruel metal. Any wounds caused by the metal keep growing, tearing and splitting the body until the victim suffers a slow and painful death. At the start of your battle, the warrior will have time to spin one such missile in your direction. Test your skill. If you succeed, you dodge the star and begin combat as normal, but if you fail, the star embeds itself deep within your body and you die in seconds. 5th Shadow Warrior, Skill 9, Stamina 9. If you defeat the warrior, turn to 335. Okay, first of all, let's put the paragraph that we need here, which is 72. Okay, our skill is 12, but because we have the chainmail armor, we have to do -1 to test skill. So, that means that we subtract 1 from our skill when we're testing our skill, because of the heavy armor. We can also use the Ring of Agility, which deducts 2 from the dice roll when testing skills. That makes it better, but we only have 3 uses. Anyway, yeah. Let's do the skill test, but we have to subtract 1 from our skill for this. So we need this to be 11 or less, which it was. Good. So that means we were skillful and we've dodged the certain death. Okay, let's fight the 5th Shadow Warrior. Shadow Warriors, that's a good film, with Carl Weathers and Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's not critically acclaimed or anything, but if you like mindless action, it is really good. I don't think Carl Weathers has been in nearly enough action films on his own, really. Obviously, he was in Predator, but he was also in Action Jackson, which is okay. He's been in a few others. But yeah, Shadow Warriors is quite a good film, if you like that. It has Trevor Goddard, that bloke who was in the first awful Mortal Kombat film. Not to say the second one's any better, but the first one, well, they're all awful. They're like those Resident Evil films. I think they're directed by the same bloke as well. Terrible, those Resident Evil films. Horrible. And yeah, those Mortal Kombat films aren't much better. But yeah, he's the bloke who pretends to be Australian. He in real life, he actually pretended to be Australian, even though he's really from London, I think, or something like that. And he's dead now. Trevor Goddard. Yeah, he's in Shadow Warriors. That Canadian actress who was in all those really bad erotic thrillers, Shannon Tweed, who's the wife of Gene Simmons, of all people. Well, not the wife, but the I don't know, the girlfriend or something. Gene Simmons. She's in Shadow Warriors. Although it's not an erotic thriller, that was one of the few films that had her in it that wasn't an erotic thriller. Who else is in it? Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, obviously. Billy Blanks, Billy Drago, I think that's his name, and a few other people. Oh yeah, that the bloke from Karate Kid. Can't remember his name. The bloke from the Karate Kid and the bloke from, and he was in Rambo 2. Martin Cove, that's it. Yeah, he's in Shadow Warriors as well. There's a second Shadow Warriors film, which is okay, but it's not as good as the first. Anyway, I will shut up about that now. But I do recommend that film. If you like mindless action, it has loads of it. Anyway, so we're fighting the fifth Shadow Warriors. Let's do this. Now I can use the chainmail arm. Well, I have to use a chainmail arm. Whenever I get hit, it's -1 damage per hit. So let's do that. Okay, so my skill is 12. His is 9. Let's do this. So 9 plus 11 is 20. I get 19. So that's good. So he actually hurts me. So 19 to 20. So that means I lose 2 stamina points, but I only lose 1 because of the chainmail armor. So I'll just put this down to 9 hits now. Okay, so next one. 9 plus 8 is 17. I get 22, so 17 to 22. Yeah, I'm really going to try and use all the equipment that I have. I always seem to forget to use it sometimes because, but I will try to do it properly. Anyway, next one. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 21, so 16 to 21. Yeah, okay, here we go. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 19, so 16 to 19. If I do make an error at these, it's not on. I'm not cheating on purpose. It's just because I forget to use all the stuff. Anyway, so next one is 9 plus 8 is 17. I get 19 again. So 17 to 19. And then we have 9 plus 3 is 12. I get 18, so 12 to 18. Good, that wasn't too bad. Just got hit once. So not bad. Anyway, 0. Okay, let's carry on. Yeah, okay, so if you defeat the warrior, 10 to 335. I did, so off we go, 335. Though the struggle was hard, you have defeated your foe. The shadow warrior falls, wailing in an untidy heap. Yet no sooner does the evil fiend hit the ground than dark vapors start to rise from its body. You stand back and watch as the foul fumes enshroud the corpse, obscuring it from sight. When they clear, the body is no longer there. Only a scorch on the earth remains. Uh, you may have beaten the warrior, but you have not destroyed it. It will take more than the weapons of mortal man to lay such creatures to rest. It is more than likely that you will meet one another again before this tale is told. Rue the day! Now continue your adventure. There it is. Okay, so let's turn to 72 now, because we've defeated the Shadow Warrior. That was a bit of a filler paragraph, wasn't it? Anyway, made wary by your victory, the other warriors rein their horses to a halt. As one, the four hiss with fear and hatred, but you don't stay to watch this display of evil. You run round a bend, putting yourself out of their sight. Then you hear the pounding of hoofs as the warriors take up the pursuit once more. You won't be so lucky a second time. You need to find a way to shake them off. Will you attempt to hide in one of the many ruts in the rocky path? Said 346. Hurriedly put on a chameleon cloak if you have one, and hug the shadowy side of the looming rock face. 10 to 324, or attempt a running jump across the deep ravine to the path on the other side of the pass. 10 to 2. Okay, we are going to attempt a running jump across the deep ravine. to the path on the other side of the pass and turn to 2. Off we go. Now the leap is not going to be an easy one. Test your skill. If you succeed, turn to 24, but if you fail, turn to 131. Okay, so again, we're minusing 1 for our skill because of the heavy armor thingy bob. So we need this to be 11 or less, and it was good. 35 out of 36 probability that would happen, so good. Even got a 2, which is unlikely. Anyway, so we were successful, and we're turning to 24. Against all the odds, you have made it to the far path. Seeing your miraculous leap, the warriors howl in frustration. They themselves cannot make the jump, since the far path offers too narrow a landing area for their horses. You fear that the riders will now split up and wait for you at both ends of the pass, but no, they screech and all race southwards. You sense that time is against them, perhaps they fear the oncoming dawn. Whatever the reason, you breathe a long, long sigh of relief. Turn to 102. The 200 gold pieces you have been promised as payment is no longer important. Mendoken and his people were under your protection, and you have failed them. Oh, right, sorry, I thought I'd turned the wrong paragraph. Mendoken and his people were under your protection, and you have failed them. The Shadow Warrior's power is awesome, unlike anything you have ever seen before, but you shall defeat these dark riders. You shall avenge all the innocent folk whom they have slain. For surviving the ambush, you may add 2 points to your luck. Is that necessary? No. It is dawn when you reach the southern exit of the Magyar Pass, a place you will always remember as the scene of your greatest defeat. You stop to rest and consider your next move. The road to Kamstein leads straight to the south. Until you get there, more villagers will suffer or die each night. To the east, however, lives an all-knowing hermit. Why did I say perhaps? To the east, however, lives an all-knowing hermit. Maybe you should learn all there is to know about these seemingly indestructible warriors before you go rushing into battle. The hermit alone may possess such esoteric knowledge. Will you head south to Karnstein? Is it Karnstein or no, it is Karnstein, sorry. To Karnstein. 10 to 11, or east in search of the hermit. 10 to 113. Okay, we are going to head east in search of the hermit. And turn to 113. Yeah, my apologies. I thought that said Kamstein. It said Karnstein. Anyway, you make straight towards the east and soon come to a large bridge. You cross it and join the Weirtown Road, which you follow until you reach the region of low, wooded hills where the hermit is said to live, an area also renowned for its highwaymen. The sun is sinking when you leave the road and take a winding trail northwards up onto the high ground. There you find a famous landmark, the Wizard's Well. An old wizardly face carved in a low overhang of moss-covered rock looks down on a magic spring. Only good can come from partaking of this fluid. Will you pause to drink from the Wizard's Well, turn to 194, or continue on your way, turn to 349? Okay, we're going to continue on our way and turn to 349. Night has fallen by the time you reach the hermit's cottage. Hamicus the hermit is a friendly old man, and he wastes no time in providing you with a hot meal. Restore 2 stamina points. Okie dokie. Puts me up to 21. As you eat, you risk... Yeah, why is it only 2 stamina points? Because I have provisions, and they're not going to be as good as a hot meal, are they? So, and they give 4 stamina points, so surely I should get 4 at least from a hot meal, or even more. Logically. Anyway, as you eat, you risk total honesty and tell Hamicus all about your quest. Frowning, he goes over to consult a book at his desk, then says, over 2,000 years ago there existed one voivod whose very name was a byword for cruelty. His power threatened life itself, but the world took shape in the form of the Earth Mother and the Horned God. Together they fought Voivod and defeated him. They were not able to kill death itself, but could only imprison him in a secret place. Voivod's 5 lieutenants disappeared, never to be seen again, or so it seemed. For now we can understand the old nursery rhyme. The Shadow Warriors have been seeking Voivod's prison in the hope of freeing him, so that he may embark on a new reign of terror. It is said that a book, the Astrakhan's Numeris, predicts Voivod's return and provides the means whereby he can be defeated. I don't know if the book truly exists, but I do know that Voivod is about to walk Titan again. Suddenly there comes a heavy pounding on the door. 3 slow, booming knocks that almost shatter the wood. They are followed by a low, mournful voice. Father, it is I, your son. Please let me in. It is so cold out here. Hearing this, Hammerkus falls back and cries in sorrow and terror. It cannot be. My son died 7 years ago. But he overcomes his fears and makes for the door. Unless you stop him, the hermit will admit his long dead son. Will you try to stop the hermit, turn to 330, or let him unbar the door, turn to 314? And there he is. Okay, we are going to try to stop the hermit and turn to 330. You rush to the hermit and restrain him. The voice outside wails, Father, please, you must let me in. If you don't, I will die. Overcome with emotion, Hammerkus finds renewed strength and breaks free of your grasp. The only way to stop him now is by the use of regrettable force. Hammerkus, skill 5, stamina 7. If after 1 round of combat you decide to let the hermit open the door, turn to 314. But if you are still determined to stop him, turn to 76. Okay, so Hammerkus, skill 5, stamina 7. Hammocks, why didn't I think of that? Right, skill 5, stamina 7. Okay, so his skill is 5, mine is 12. Let's do this. But 1 round of combat. 5 plus 7 is 12. I get 17. So 12 to 17. Puts him down to 5, and we're still determined to stop him. So we are turning to 76. Just when you think the hermit is about to go berserk, he falls to his knees, sobbing. Outside, the pleas grow more persistent, but Hammerkus just presses his hands over his ears and weeps. Leave me in peace. You cannot be my son. My son is dead. At this, the voice screams and fades into oblivion. The ordeal is over. Rising, the hermit smiles through his tears and says, I owe you my life. In return, I offer you knowledge. The Shadow Warriors are vessels of their master's will. They can be destroyed only when he is destroyed, but they can be banished. If you best a warrior in combat, tear the face mask off its dissolving form. Separated from its talisman, the warrior will be doomed to limbo for 100 years. If in future you defeat a Shadow Warrior, turn to 223 and not to 335 as instructed. Make a note of this on your adventure sheet. Restore 1 luck point for obtaining this priceless information. Resting for the night, you leave the cottage next day at dawn and make your way back south. Turn to 44. Okay, so if we kill a Shadow Warrior now, so if we defeat a Shadow Warrior, turn to 223 and not to 335. New line. There we go. Okay, so now we're turning to paragraph 44. And we don't need the luck point, do we? No. Okay, that's like I said no, like Lara Croft does on Tomb Raider 1 when if you put the wrong key in. No. No. Anyway, Your search for the hermit has used up a good deal of precious time. Unless you can find some way to make it up, you may very well reach Karnstein too late to save it. Eventually, you rejoin the the Weir Town Road, sorry. If you wish to follow it back west, turn to 160. If you would rather cut across country and head directly southwards, remembering that roads usually offer greater safety for the traveller, turn to 247. Okay, we're going to follow the road back west and turn to 160. After some time, you come to a fork in the road. If you wish to keep going westwards, turn to 96. If you take the branch to the southeast, turn to 135. Okay, we're going to keep going westwards and turn to 96. After some time, you arrive once more at the bridge you crossed earlier. Only now it is guarded. Silhouetted against the sky is the brooding, mounted form of a shadow warrior. It sees you almost at once and shouts out its terrifying cry. Roll one die to see which of the 5 warriors you must fight. If you roll a 6, ignore the result and roll again. When, after defeating the warrior, you are told to continue your adventure, turn to 11. Note this on your adventure sheet. Okay, so 11. Whoops. If you roll 1, turn to 8. 2, turn to 394. 3, turn to 259. 4, turn to 183. 5, turn to 245. 6, roll again. Okay, so let's roll a d6. And we get a 2. So that means we're turning to 394. Is that the missing page? But yeah, I think that's the missing. Hold on a minute. Is that the missing page? I think I've just found it. Yeah, that is the missing. Oh, good. They do have the missing page. For some reason, it's at the end. I had a funny feeling it might be. There's another missing page as well. It's right at the end. Okay, I'll remember that. It's unbelievable. Yeah, if I'm missing a page, it's at the end. Unbelievable. I'm sure I searched through this. I can't believe I'm just finding this now. I had to search through this at the before I made these videos, and I couldn't find it. I must not have searched very hard. I'm sorry about that. Well, there's the beginning of paragraph 60 that we missed in the previous part. There it is to read. Anyway, enough of that. Let's turn to 394. Okay, this shadow warrior carries a multitude of finely crafted daggers slung in bandoliers across its chest. At the start of each round of combat, the warrior throws a blade at you. Roll one die. If you roll 1 to 4, the dagger misses, but if you roll 5 or 6, it thuds into your flesh and you must deduct 2 points from your stamina. Armor or testing your luck will not reduce this damage. Whether the dagger hits you or not, you must then fight a normal attack round of combat. Second Shadow Warrior, skill 9, stamina 9. If you defeat the warrior, 10 to 335. We're not, we're heading to 223. Or at least I hope we will. Okay, so this is the second Shadow Warrior. And he has skill 9, stamina 9 like before. I still can't believe I found those missing pages. I'm sure I searched for them. I obviously didn't search hard enough. How stupid of me. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, so yeah, the armor doesn't, or testing our luck doesn't stop the dagger. So each attack round we have to roll 1 dice. Let's roll that. Let's roll a die now. And we get a 1. That means the dagger misses. Okay, now we're doing the attack round. So 9 plus 6 is 15. I get 19. So 15 to 19. Puts it down to 7. Okay. Okay, another dagger then. Okay, that means we've lost 2 points of stamina. Regardless, luck and the armor won't help us. So that puts us down to 19. Now we're doing the attack round as normal. Okay, so 9 plus 4 is 13. I get 21. So 13 to 21. Puts it down to 5. Okay, another dagger. Okay, that means the dagger misses. Now we're doing the attack round. 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 15. So 16 to 15. Right, that means we've used another armor hit thing. And we lost 1 point of stamina, so it puts us down to 18. Okay. All right, next one. So another dagger. Okay, so the dagger missed again. Okay, 9 plus 5 is 14. I get 19. So 14 to 19. Puts it down to 3. Okay, another dagger. Come on, there we go. Okay, so the dagger misses. And then 9 plus 7 is 16. I get 18. So 16 to 18. Puts it down to 1. Okay, so another dagger. Okay, so the dagger hit us, so that's 2 stamina points off, regardless of luck or armor. So that's down to 16 now. And then the attack round. Okay, so 9 plus 8 is 17. I get 20, so 17 to 20. I know that was the same score. I did press it again. You have to trust me on that. Anyways, that's the end of the second Shadow Warrior. Okay, but now we're not turning to paragraph 335. We're turning to paragraph 223. So let's turn there now. Here we are. As the defeated Shadow Warrior falls, groaning in an untidy... Excuse me, I'll start again. As the defeated Shadow Warrior falls, groaning in an untidy heap, you reach forward and snatch its weird mask away from its face. The warrior's scream slices through the air. Its body dissolves in a whirlwind of crimson energy, which spins and spins until it burns out and simply fades away. Though not destroyed, the Shadow Warrior will not be seen again for 100 years. Note on your adventure sheet which warrior you have just banished. Okay, so we've just banished Shadow Warrior 2. So we have banished Shadow Warrior 2. You will not have to face this warrior again. If you are told that you will have to, ignore the instructions. You face nothing. Oh, that's quite good. If in future you roll this warrior when you roll to see which of the 5 you must face, roll again until you get a different one. Oh, that's not as good. Now continue your adventure. Yeah, note on your adventure sheet which warrior you have just banished. You will not have to face this warrior again. If you are told that you will have to, ignore the instructions. You face nothing. If in future, so we don't face nothing, we have to face another one. Okay, so we just, we have to roll again. Okay, brilliant. Now continue your adventure. Okay, we were turning to 11, weren't we? Okay, yeah, so we're turning to 11. Sorry about that. I'm just checking my notes there. Okay. You make good progress southwards, but you are still many miles north of Gaunt when you are brought to a halt. I mean, it's been using meters, which is metric. Now it's using imperial miles again. So make up your mind. It should be using kilometers or kilometers. I've never understood the pronunciation kilometer, because if it is pronounced kilometer, then that means a centimeter should be pronounced centimeter, and a millimeter should be pronounced millimeter. Because if you pronounce kilometer, the emphasis is on the second syllable. So that means all metric distance measures should have the emphasis should have the emphasis on the second syllable. So kilometer, centimeter, millimeter, nanometer, micrometer, that sort of thing. Whereas they don't say that; they say millimeter and they say centimeter, which is emphasis on the first syllable. So therefore, I say that the word kilometer should have the emphasis on the first syllable. Hence, I say kilometer. You know, so it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so yeah, so if they're using meters for, a shorter distance, they should use kilometers for the longer one. Whereas they're using miles, which is 1,760 yards, which is 8 furlongs, a furlong being 220 yards, which is 10 chains, which is 22 yards, which is 10 times 22. So a statute mile is 1,760 yards, which is 8 furlongs, which is 8 times 220, which is 1,760. So 1,760 yards. So, if they're using miles for this distance, they should use yards for the other one, which is obviously 3 feet. Anyway, I'll start again. You make good progress southwards, but you are still many miles north of Gaunt when you are brought to a halt by the sight of a peculiar grinning face that is. Actually, I'll start again, sorry. You make good progress southwards, but you are still many miles north of Gaunt when you are brought to a halt by the sight of a peculiar grinning face that is watching you from within the deep grass which borders the roadside. Looking more closely, you see that the face is adorned with leaves and is part of the grass itself. It darts about, moving here and there as it excuse me. It darts about, moving here and there as if blown by the wind, and it speaks in a spry and mischievous voice. Why do some people say mischievous? If you look at the word mischievous, there isn't an I between the V and the O. Therefore, there's no possible way it could be mischievous. I think they must confuse it with devious because they're stupid. Anyway, it speaks in a spry and mischievous voice. "'Tis Jack in the Green, the ancient king, here to offer you guidance. Now the world is dying, the soil corrupt, and the trees astir with violence. Warriors 5 seek their lord, the one who must not be freed. Earth Mother seeks a healing hand, but 'tis proof of your worth she needs. If you have a green leaf brooch, turn to 398. Otherwise, Jack in the Green will offer you a chance to prove your worth. If you will accept his task, turn to 382. If you do not, turn to 398. Okay, so we have a green leaf brooch, so we're turning to 398. I'll just prove we have that brooch. There it is, green leaf brooch. There we are. 398. Troubled times await you, the enigmatic figure continues, but the horned god sends a gesture of goodwill. Find the man of numbers or his book. Without either, you will fail. Then the face is gone. You decide to ally yourself with the elemental forces whom Jack in the Green serves as a messenger. You will be the Earth Mother's champion against the evil Shadow Warriors. Gaunt is actually much further south than it appears on your map, and it is night time when you finally reach the high town wall. Passing through the north gate, you hear noises of unrest and catch the smell of smoke, yet you don't see any town guards, no gate wardens, no one at all. You are wondering what to do when you see a young man come running out of his home. He shouts, "Go away, you're not my wife." A young woman comes after him. Smiling, she tugs at his wrist and says, "But of course I'm your wife, silly. Who else could I be? Now stop being foolish and come back inside." The man refuses and they struggle violently. If you want to try and put a stop to their fight, turn to 284. If you would rather leave them alone and make for the town centre, turn to 231. Okay, we will decide what to do in the next video. So thanks for watching. I'll just note the paragraph number 398. Yeah, this video was a little bit longer than the last one because I went off on a couple of tangents about metric measurements again. And the word mischievous, which some people stupidly pronounce mischievous, even though the spelling has no I between the V and the O. Anyway, alright, so 398. is the next paragraph. Thanks for watching and goodbye.